You're listening to Whispers of War.
Hello everyone and welcome to Whispers of War, show number 49. I'm your host Sil, and let's just jump into how was my week in Warcraft. It has been an interesting week. So my road hit 120 and I jumped into Nazjatar with her, after you need to do all the pre-quests and all that crap. So did that, and I'm kind of tired now of gearing her already. I know that I have all these plans of gearing my alts and going, this will be my main and I'm going to do all of that. And then I run around in the same area. I'm like, I cannot be bothered with this at all. What am I going to do with her? Yeah, a bit of world PvP maybe, but I don't really do dungeons or raiding. So yeah, I'm kind of done. I still really like playing her, and doing the world quests on her is very, very easy, but I'm just not really enjoying the gearing. So even, it is relatively easy with all the benthic gear, which I've done, but you can upgrade that with pearls, and jump into raids and get more gear, and I just cannot be arsed. So I have decided to do something else, and it's actually been a bit of a mix-up this week. So I actually also did some pet battling, and I really enjoyed that. I might actually do the whole pet battling thing of all the quests that you get for it, and all the areas and maybe all the achievements. I need to look into that, but I saw some videos from, was it Hazelnut who did them? I know she's really into pet battling, so I thought, okay, well, I might have to look into that and see if I can get those little pets from the, from Pandaria. You have those little elemental ones that look really adorable, and I want to get those, so I might have to seriously start jumping into this. I guess being a little bit back into Pokemon Go has triggered that again. Before you know it, I will also have to get a Nintendo Switch because of Sword and Shield. That's another rabbit hole. Anyhow, so I decided, it's time to level something else. This feels a little bit like my Cataclysm days when I thought, okay, I'm just going to level all the things. Now, having 50 characters available to me on one server might not be that good for me, but I am going to try it anyway. So, at the moment, I ran a poll on Twitter, okay, what do I need to level, and the general consensus was, you need to level a Warlock or a Hunter. Now, I actually have 2 Warlocks and 3 Hunters on that server. But I am going to start with my lowest ones, just because I think it's nice to level a little bit longer for a longer period. So I'm going to start with my baby Warlock. It's a Void Elf who is level 30 something, I believe. So it's nice running into the old world yet again, and just doing some questing there. I think after that, I might jump on my Horde Warlock, and do some, he's 110, so I will have to do Zuldazar again, or basically all of that, which is fine. I don't mind that at all. But it's a bit like I've done it already, but yeah. I think leveling from 110, or actually from 100, because I'm done with Legion shit, but leveling from 100 is going to be the hard part. Everything before that, I'm actually quite okay with. Even the Burning Crusade stuff, it goes quick enough. But who knows, maybe with War Mode it will just be more interesting, I don't know. So Warlock first, then my Hunters, who are both quite high. Both my Hunters are really high level, but I'm just going to complete them all, guys. I'm just, why not? Let's just do it and see if I can get some heritage gear out of it as well. And maybe build on my faction reputation. Just in case we get more heritage gear, it might as well just be all unlocked. Why not? So those are the two that are going to be leveled first. once that is done, I will focus on my other classes. Hopefully by then, I'm also hoping that we will get a discount on transferring characters again, because I have a few characters on my old servers that I don't really play anymore because they are on that server, but I still, you know, they were level 2 to 110 or 100, and I'm talking about things like my goblin and my dwarf, and they have so much RP potential, and that has become a big thing for me again. I'm really back into the RP. I don't know what is going on, but it seems that on my server, all of a sudden, everyone has returned back to the RP hubs. Stories are popping up like this afternoon, and this is very boring for those who don't like RP, but for me it was really interesting. I log into my troll, and I see this weird thing that's going on in Orgrimmar. There's this huge group of all kinds of horde races standing around one troll, and people were saying we need to throw rotten fruit at him, there's stuff going on, and you know, I saw a lot of emotes flying by about not like torturing the troll, but more like punishing him for something. And you saw people talking to each other going, well, what's going on here? What happened? Why is he being probably humiliated? And it was just really interesting to see I've never seen such a big group of people just stood together, and I applaud this guild for this initiative and this storyline. I really thought it was interesting. And yeah, it kind of got me back into the RP. I started talking to other people, and it was just really, really nice. And it has kind of pulled me back into it. So I want to try it out with my other classes and races. Also because I had some really good interviews with some of you lovely ladies out there. And yeah, it has made me think about my characters a little bit more, but you will hear those interviews along the line. There's lots to look forward to. So that's one thing that I've been doing. And then of course I had to, oh here I am again, trying to pick a class for Classic. So I thought I had figured it out. I thought, you know what, fuck it, I'm going to play a Night Elf Druid, because that's what I started with, and I want to go back to Ashenville. That's what I thought. And then I thought, well, maybe not, because I'm going to an RP PvP server. Yes, I will be going to that server. I think it's the Zandalar tribe. And the people I want to play with are going to play Horde. So that's where my whole thing of the Night Elf Druid just went completely like poof. Because you cannot roll both factions on a PvP server, whether it be RP PvP or you can't. So I thought, okay, well I have to play Horde. And guys, I tried today. I really tried to enjoy the Tauren Druid, and I'm so sorry for everyone who loves Tauren Druids. I just could not get into it. The cat form from back in the day, I do not like it. And I know I won't see it too much because, you know, you only see the ass in front of you anyway. I just did not enjoy that. I don't understand why the mouth has to be open. I think the new Tauren models look amazing. I just didn't like it. And I thought, well, do I really want to play something that I'm not 100% happy with, you know, that I am enjoying as much as I enjoyed Druid back in the day? And then I thought, what do I want to do? Do I really want to tank? Because that's the only reason why I wanted to roll Druid, also for nostalgia reasons, because of the Nelf. But then I thought, well, I would be tanking and everything, and that's I could do that, but will I lose my shit in dungeons or not? Or do I just want to play it safe and be a DPS? Because we all know that Druids will become healers or mana batteries once you start to go into the raiding. And I thought, I just want a DPS, really. And back in the day, I really, really enjoyed my mage, which I also leveled, because even back then, I was insane and I liked leveling alts. And I had a really good time PvPing on my undead mage. I loved doing that before I had to go to work back in the day, and I just, you know, get a quick battleground in, and we're not talking about the big ones, about the smaller battlegrounds. And it was a lot of fun. And I thought, I want to have another mage, I think. Also because even with Tauren, I just don't. I think I don't mind Tauren. I just don't like their mounts, the Kodos, and you would have to work so hard to get another mount from another race. I didn't want to do that, and the only other races that I am okay with are basically everything else. I think the wolves are alright, even though I don't like their running animation. I think the undead horses are fine, and the raptors, I don't mind that bobbing that they do. I actually quite like it. So I rolled an undead mage. Really enjoyed the mage class. Really felt powerful already. And I know it's a bit of a slog, the first level 20 levels I think for a mage, but it pays off. And then I thought, well, do I want to be undead? Or do I want to be something else? And back in the day, and I'm taking you on a little bit of a story trip now, back in the day on my old server, there was a troll mage who was notorious for his skills in PvP, and just the name alone was enough that people went like, oh my god, he is in Stranglethorn Vale, or Ganklethorn, just, with an RP sense, because he was a troll, to get everyone that wasn't the Horde out of Stranglethorn. And it was just really epic, and I just thought to myself, you know what, as much as I like the undead and I like the atmosphere, you don't level that much in the undead area, because at a certain point it gets contested, or it's more alliance anyway. So you're being forced to go to the Barrens, and I thought I might as well just go and start with the Barrens and just roll the troll, because raptors and trolls, that is amazing. So I then had to make the decision, do I want a female or a male troll? You see how difficult I'm making this whole process for myself, right? I'm still not 100% clear of what I want, but famous words, but I think I am leaning more towards the male troll than the female troll, and that purely has to do with the running animations, because I like everything. Both of them look really cool with their casting animations. I think the male troll looks a little bit more epic, but I do also know that female trolls look nicer in robes. Just saying, just saying. But the running animation is a bit odd on the old female troll models, so yeah, I think I'm going to roll a male troll mage, which is not something I thought I was going to do. I thought I was going to be a rogue, a hunter, or a druid, and lo and behold, I'm playing a mage. Like, what the fuck? And that is purely by just trying out a few things. I didn't mind the druid class at all when I played it in Mulgore. I quite like Mulgore. It's really soothing, and I will most likely roll an alt druid. I have no doubt that I will, and I think I will probably also roll a night elf druid on Hydraxian Borderlords, which is the PvE RP server on EU. Just because, I want to experience some old-fashioned RP again. And some people might go, well, why do you want to start a new character there? But that's because there's no investment yet. And the story isn't, expansion after expansion after expansion, so you don't really have to think about it. It's just anything that happened in Classic, which sometimes simplifies some of the RP. So for those of you who want to maybe try some RP, why not try it there? If it's too intimidating knowing everything that has happened in all those expansions, just go with Classic then. It's a lot simpler, I would say. So yeah, I've just been updating my add-ons. Yes, I do have some add-ons for Classic already. Just building some UIs. My macros are already set. My key bindings are already done. So I feel kind of ready for Classic, so I just want it now and I want to play. I didn't want to play too much of my mage because I thought I'm going to get burned out. Just did the starting area and just thought, okay, this will work best now, because we all know what happens with sharing characters, or sharing the starting area with two races, orcs and trolls, and then, quests, mobs that you can't tag. Yeah, it's a little bit of a clusterfuck, if I may say so. also something that happened today, which was really interesting. There was a, in a way it was very clever, but it was also a bit of a dick move. So, in the starting area, there's a quest that you have to kill this named scorpion mob for trolls and orcs. So people went up to the hill where that mob was. I saw the name and I hovered over it. I clicked on it, not right click, I just clicked on it. Then I saw it was Alliance tagged, which was weird. And I thought, why is there an Alliance PvP thing next to it? That doesn't make sense. So I waited for it and just walked away for a little bit. And then I saw someone else who ran at the mob, which had that name, but it said the mob is called Skargoth, and it said Skargoth's pet. And I thought, what? Is that... what? What is that? So there was this Nelf, this night elf hunter, who was hidden in Shadowmeld, in a way very clever, waiting for people to tag and attack her pet, which was that scorpion mob there, but she had tamed it and basically had pretended it to be the mob that people would hit. So she wasn't able to attack any of the new players because, you know, you can't attack newbies in the starting area. And as soon as they would attack the pet, they were flagged and she could kill them. I think she was a lot higher than everyone who was level 5 because she was like boss level mode for me. And I thought, it's brilliant, but it's also a dick move. So yeah, that's how you troll people in a starting area. So be very aware before you click on a named mob that it's not someone's pet. Just saying, you know, just be aware. So that was interesting. I will leave you now with a much better interview, which is a little bit about PvP, so it falls into that. I will leave you with the lovely Anna, who will talk about PvP and her Discord group of girls who are into PvP. And I will come back to you after the interview with some contest stuff. So I will see you on the flip side. And with me today, I'm being joined by a very, very lovely lady. Welcome, Anna.
Hey.
How are you?
I'm good.
Good. Not too nervous, I hope?
No, I'm ready.
Good. I like hearing that. So, Anna, for everyone who's listening, can you tell the listeners a little bit about who you are, what you do?
Yeah, I play a Holy Pally mainly. I'm mostly only PvP. I'm a multi-season gladiator. I've been PvPing since Wrath of the Lich King, although I've probably not been any good since Cataclysm. I got my first gladiator in Mist of Pandaria. I do a little Mythic Plus, but I try not to PvE unless I have to. I support esports in any way I can, so if you see esports at all, you probably see me lurking around somewhere. I actually had an all-girls team signed up a couple of the tournaments, and we actually won a couple series.
That is really cool.
Yeah, and then we had to fight Sea-Doo, who actually won BlizzCon, which it was terrifying and fun at the same time. And I mean, I think that representation matters, and I think a lot of people are just intimidated.
Mm-hmm.
So I've been trying to build a community for women to join to learn more about PvP, to feel comfortable.
Yeah, because you said you have a Discord community, don't you, for
ladies?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, we'll talk about that a bit more when we go to the main topic of the show, which will be, as you might have guessed, PvP and the esports community, and of course the Discord channel that you made. So, out of curiosity, do you side with either Horde or Alliance?
I've always disliked the Divide, and I've always wanted to play both sides since Burning Crusade. I'm not sure if you played back then, but you weren't allowed to have like the same factions on the same server on one account. So I got 2 accounts back then because I wanted to play both. I would just sit there and emote the other faction because I wanted to be friends with just everybody. And that's me in person. I want to be friends with everybody. So I always play at least one paladin on both factions. And I'm not super partial to one or the other, but as a true PvPer, I always go where the best racials are for PvP. So currently my Alliance Paladin's kind of what I'm leaning towards for what I'd call a main, because I
Mhm.
really like the Dark Iron racial for PvP.
Okay. Which flavor of the Horde races do you use for your paladin?
Since the Blood Elf nerf since Arcane Torrent doesn't silence anymore, I've been playing Tauren for the War Stomp.
Ah, okay. Yeah, I can see how that would help in PvP. Okay, fair enough. Curious, because you said a little bit about Burning Crusade, but how did you start your love for World of Warcraft? When did you start playing?
After Hurricane Katrina, I got displaced in a town that I wasn't familiar with, and I spent a lot of time online in like the AOL chat rooms, and one of my friends knew that I used to play the old text-based MMOs, and he said you should try this game out, and I was just instantly hooked on it. I was so bad, but instantly hooked.
Did you immediately jump into Paladin, or did you try lots of
I played-
other things?
I played a Warlock, and I actually tried to level it. I stayed in the first zone until like level 15. I didn't know anything about it. I like just used my fist. I didn't know you put the gear on. I think I had gray gear on. Like it was really bad, but I loved it.
I think we've all been there. In all fairness, I know this is a bit of the off the cuff question, but I'm curious, since you've been playing for that long, is Classic something that you're interested in to dabble in when it launches, or?
Yeah, I think I'm gonna go back to that Warlock. Warlock's changed so much since in BC. It was just I played Affliction. It was just put up your dots and spam Casbolt, and they added so much. I tried to play Warlock. I think I tried to play it MOP, and I was like, what is this class? What is all this? But it'd be interesting to go back to what I actually know and try it out again. Paladin was so different back then, too.
Yeah, I've heard that. I mean, I've noticed that a lot of classes that I've played have changed a lot over the years, but I think you get used to it, don't you? At a certain point, you're like, well, I can't really remember. I know it was different, but not until you really play it again in Classic, I think, is when people realize, oh yeah, this was different.
I haven't played the beta like everyone has because I didn't want to burn myself out. I actually remember not being able to ride them out to 40 and all the little like things that we take for granted that I don't, but I missed the community of the guilds, and people really came together back then a lot more.
Do you feel like it has changed a little bit with how we are now? Because there's so much more quality of life changes that I'd like to call it. Do you feel like the community has changed over the years?
Yeah, I think that like was it Wrath of the Lich King when they made where you could do 10-man difficulties and
I believe so, yeah.
Cross realm guilds, and I think it kind of like killed the idea of the guild and where you had to come together and all on one server, and you don't have to do that anymore.
Well, it will be interesting to see if that goes back to Classic with how it was, how the community will change with that.
I think Classic's going to be a good thing, though. I mean, a lot of people wanted it for so long. I'm glad they're finally doing it.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm counting down the days. All right, so let's jump into your main topic, which is women and PvP. The Discord that you created in the esports. Which one would you like to start with? The women in PvP?
Sure.
Okay. So women in PvP, which I always find very, very interesting, and let me go back into the whole, the history that I've had with it. I used to love doing Battlegrounds as a druid in Classic, just because druids are OP as flag runners.
They still are.
Well, I had a lot of fun with that, and also, as a boomkin, because I like to play the underdog, and nothing is more satisfying than blasting someone from the lumber mill with whatever spell as a chicken. That really, really satisfied me. So we were a PvE guild, but we PvP'd a lot afterwards. Now, funny thing was, there was always someone who was leading our that wasn't rated, but when we did a guild group of PvP. We had a leader, basically our PvP leader, and that person, and I say person because that person played a male rogue, and I never thought about it. Oh, it's probably a guy then. Later on, we found out that it was actually a girl or a lady, and the reason why she did not want to reveal her gender was because she thought people would not take her serious in PvP, and her advice if she would say that she was a girl. And that has always really struck me because I hear it from ladies who raid lead, that they have a little bit more issues with people following them because they are not being taken serious. Now, PvP is one of those things that it is so rare to see a woman lead, or even, you know, look at all the esports, how many groups there are that have just guys, maybe one girl if we're lucky, but all girl groups, we hardly see them, or it's conceived as gimmicky.
Yeah.
Now,
or a joke.
yeah, exactly. It's like, oh, it's just for attention or something like that. Now, what was it that pulled you into the whole PvP side of things before we jump into all the other stuff? But what was it that pulled you into PvP? Because it has quite a male...
It's dominated,
Yeah.
There was a girl in Burning Crusade-ish, her name was Hafu.
Mm-hmm.
I think she plays Hearthstone now, I think.
That sounds
played
very
it-
familiar.
She actually plays a druid. She actually made it to BlizzCon, I believe.
Mm-hmm.
I heard of her. She played with two guys though, granted, but I mean, she wasn't insanely good, and even though she was competing against other guys and winning, she just wasn't completely taken seriously. You know, there's always rumors, but I mean, I seen her and I was like, yeah, I want to be like her, you know, like she did so well, and I love the whole competitive scene, being competitive, even beating the guys. I mean, they get so upset. I mean, it's funny, but I mean, I've always been a competitive person, and you can do Mythic Plus and you can get your Raider IO, but I mean, I love getting the Gladiator title and seeing the rating and having a score. I've always been into that kind of thing.
Okay. How was it for you to jump into PvP as a girl? Did you get a lot of like pushback from other people?
I mean, people are really friendly when they're beating you, but as soon as you beat them, I mean, I get whispers. I get I used to have forums posts made, like saying, "Oh, she's getting carried," or when I first got my first Gladiator, I got it on 2 Paladins in the same season, and I named one Anna, and I named the other one Antonio. Just added like experimental, and I never told anybody. And people were so much friendlier to Antonio than they were to Anna. Like, they would whisper me, and they would ask me to play, and they would like just be really nice to me. And I would do no voice like arena, and like they'd be so respectful of me, but no one, like, I'd get the most hateful whispers on Anna, like, who carried you, or like, did you send like nudes to get your title, or did you buy your account? And I'm like, what? I mean, not everyone's like that, but there are a lot of people, even if like you go in the LFG and they'll get in voice, which is the dreadful thing, you know, but you get in voice and they're like, oh, never mind, I don't want to play with a girl. It happens a lot.
Yeah, no, I can imagine that. I think that's why my PvP leader decided not to say anything, even to her own guild. She didn't really want to, because she had built up a reputation of being an amazing PvPer, and she didn't want to jeopardize that. And which I think it's sad. I think in a way that we have to. Do you still notice that happens nowadays, or do you feel like it's lessened, or is it still about the same?
There are several standout girls that are really good at their classes, and I mean, I respect them. They're girls who play DPS, and something I could never do, and most people respect them, but there's still a lot of like animosity towards them, a lot of hatred. I say it's 50-50. Like, there's a few girls higher on the ladder, but then you go in their chat rooms and you still see the people that are saying mean things, or you know.
Mm-hmm.
I think my friend Nelly, she missed rank 1 by 1 point. She's such a good player, but even like some of the competitors, they're in her chat and they're like, "Oh, you're bad. It sucks. You missed it."
Mm-hmm.
Like just mean, taunting her, and it's just really, as a community, we should come together. It's just, I don't think it's right.
Absolutely, absolutely. I completely agree with that. Now you have actually tried to get the community together by making a Discord. Can you tell a little bit about that?
Yeah, at BlizzCon this past year,
Mm-hmm.
I had made a tweet, just kind of, you know, throwing it out there, venting like, wow, this is really hyped. They really should. Who wants to be on my all girls BlizzCon team? That's how it started off. You know, we should make all girls BlizzCon team when I get back. Who wants to, you know, compete? And it started getting like likes and retweets. Even Halinka retweeted it, who's one
Okay.
of the PvP devs from Blizzard. And by the time I got back to my hotel room, I had like 300 likes and retweets, and I'm like, okay, maybe this is something. I mean, people really want. I had like girls come up to me and they're like, I would love to PvP, but I'm too like scared. I'm too bad. And I'm like, no, like, you know, everybody starts somewhere. Like, you know, it kind of made me think that not everybody has like the information that I have, or the like, you know, my boyfriend plays and I can ask him questions. But a lot of girls don't have that someone to ask without like, hey, what does this spell do? You know, or what happens when this happens, without, you know, sounding like, oh, that sounds stupid. He's gonna think I'm stupid, or like Googling the question or whatnot.
Mm-hmm.
So me and the Dursty, she's from Wowhead, and another girl, we made a Discord, and we have like the guides that the rank 1 players write pinned to the channel, so you have that information. And then we have like high rated girls that you could ask questions to. I mean, we have everything from we talk about arena to we talk about makeup to we just come together and you could ask anything there, you know? Just so you don't have. I have my DMs open for the first time, which is scary on Twitter, but
It sounds really nice. It sounds like a place where a lot of girls who might be hesitant of joining anything that is PvP related can easily get into the world of PvP.
and a lot of, I think, women have been hesitant because, you know, you also think you get a lot of ladies in one place. Obviously, there's going to be drama, but I've been having this running since December, and we have no problems. I mean, it's all mature ladies, and we don't have any of that. Like, it's about 75 ladies, and I mean, it's a friendly, you know, mature community, and there's none of the like catty drama. It's all like really mature people. So
So
it's great.
do you give like tips out, or do you sometimes do stuff? Okay, well, we're setting up a group. Anyone who wants to join, is it?
Like right now it's skirmish week, and I'll, you know, ask, does anyone need their skirmishes done? You know, try to get together. And there's a girl who does run RBGs. She's the RBG runner, but she has her own little community, but she does pop in and try to run the RBGs with the girls.
Nice. It sounds like a really nice place, and I will put the link up for if you want to have that later on, so that people could join it, or you know, any girls who want to start PvPing. Do you have any tips for girls or ladies who want to start, you know, dipping their toes a little bit in PvP? What should they do? What would be some good useful tips for them?
I would say just get on Wowhead and look at the guides. You know, they're written by actual rank 1 players, and they're not going to steer you wrong. Find a good friend. You know, get in twos. I actually don't like twos myself. I need to take my own advice. But I mean, that's the best way to learn your class and to learn survivability. Get in twos and just keep queuing. You know, I mean, you're gonna probably suck at first. Keep queuing, and you know, you'll eventually get better. You'll improve. You'll learn what to do. Twos is a good stepping stone before you get into threes.
How do you feel about the battlegrounds?
I like the BGs. The new one, Seething Shore. It's interesting. I don't know. Have you done that one? It's the
No.
one where you jump off a boat in the sky and you have to go mine all the azurite. I'm so over azurite at this point, but it's interesting. I think that people haven't quite figured out a strat. People jump off and they run in all different ways. I'm not so thrilled about Ashran coming back as a epic battleground because the new people from BFA and Legion have no idea what to do with Ashran. So, but I like BGs. It's a good pastime.
Is that also one of the things that would be good for people to jump into if they want to start it a little bit, or would you say no, arena is the thing that you?
No, BGs are great. BG's probably better, like so you know that, especially as a healer, you know you get a wide variety of healing people. You know you could try out your spells and more people to peel for you than in twos. You kind of just tunneled. BGs are great.
Okay, that's good to know. That's really good to know. How would you say the state of PvP is at the moment with BFA?
I'm probably a little biased because I play a paladin and they're in a really good spot right now. Obviously, Resto Druid gods are number one as always, but Holy Pallies are probably a strong second spot right now. RM Pally being one of the, which is Road Mage Pally being one of the strongest comps right now. You probably see a lot of people complaining about it on Twitter. I actually don't play it, I want to say. I'm one of the rebels. But Pally's really strong. I see, as long as they don't nerf us anybody's listening.
Well, you never know.
But I've played Pally like bad or good, you know, whenever they're like, oh, Pally's, and a lot of people are like that with their classes, you know. Some people re-roll when their classes are bad, but I've played Pally when it's been awful. When people are like, it's not viable. I can't imagine playing anything else. I've played 4 Paladins in one season just because I like it so much. When you play, like, I play one of each, you know, to try to get a title, and then I want to play with friends, and they're like, how do you play so many of one class? I'm just bad at anything else.
Now, talking about classes, do you notice that you see a certain class that doesn't really pop up in PvP?
Let's see. Holy Priests have been really not viable for a long time. Discs aren't great. I mean, the really good discs of standout, there's 1 or 2 comps they can still play. Boomkins are struggling right now. I'm sorry.
Oh, tell me about it.
Let's see. I think everything else is pretty viable. But Holy Priests have just, for some reason, I'd say they haven't really been viable since Legion, maybe beginning of Legion.
That's interesting. All right, so let's jump to the esports a little bit. Do you watch a lot of esports? How are you involved into the world of esports?
Oh, I'm the biggest esports fan. My boyfriend actually competes. He is on, it's called a team called Returned. We're not doing very well right now, but last year he went to the spring tournament.
Yeah.
I think he got 7th place, didn't do so well, but
nice. Well, still.
But his team competes he's been in the top 8, you know, several times. It's no secret I'm more of an EU fan than an NA fan. Okay. Even though support the EU side way more, but I'm cheering for Zyzon. They're actually playing today. I mean, I love someone on every team. It's really, you know, I don't really cheer against anybody. There's so many of the guys are great, but me and him would go to the LANs, and you know, even if we're the only ones in the little small audience, I'm always cheering. Like, I love the community. I love that WoW brought that, you know.
Now, can you say that, because there is some controversy. I mean, I sometimes hear from people who know nothing about computer games. Even, you know, those that watch Twitch now and again and are like, I don't understand why people are watching other people game. But these people get especially a little bit eggy when you talk about esports, because they say it's not a real sport. I don't understand that people, these are the people who love to watch football, who love to watch basketball or anything like that, any other sports, race car driving. How do you feel where esports have gone in the last couple of years? Do you feel like it's more accepted now, or do you still feel it's a bit of a stigma? Or
I think me and Dylan actually went out one night and we went to a restaurant, and actually it was a sports bar, and actually on the TV in the sports bar, and this is in New Orleans, and they actually on the TV in a sports bar, they actually had on one of the TVs a Call of Duty tournament, and I was like, that is so cool. Like, I mean, we're not really into that game, but I mean, I think that like it's really evolving. People are accepting it. Everybody plays some kind of game. I mean, even though when I tell people like game, the first thing they say is, "Oh, you play Fortnite?" And I'm like, "No, I don't play Fortnite. I don't do the little dances."
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I'm glad that that's brought gaming more out into people. But I think that there's always been like tournaments. Like in New Orleans, people have always played the Madden tournaments, like the football games online and stuff. But I think most of the people who are saying they're not real sports, they're just the older generation that just don't understand it.
Mm-hmm. And it's the younger generation that actually is more accepting of where it's going now. That's good to hear. That's very positive.
But I think that like some of the parents, when they see that their kids can do well, and they're seeing like some of the colleges are starting to make teams and give scholarships, and they can actually get their education and make money from it. More of the parents are saying, okay, well, this is something that you can actually do with your life. It's not just playing video games and like wasting your life anymore. You could actually get a scholarship with it now.
That's pretty cool. I like where that is going. Do you feel like we're heading in the right way with the esports side of things?
Oh yeah, WoW's doing great. GCD actually, they started it out of their house. D-Machine and Clutter, they saw there wasn't many little tournaments, and they put on. I don't know if you know any of the history of that.
Not much, if I'm honest.
Two regular people that just in the community, and there was only BlizzCon, and they started putting on little community-run tournaments funded out their pocket, and they put like a little donation goal if people wanted to add to a prize pool, and good players started signing up, and it became a weekly thing, and then eventually Blizzard took notice, and he's now the esports director at Blizzard. He moved to California, and someone else took it over, but he's now in charge of esports, and I mean that all because he started it out of his home. And now GCD runs all of the, it structured the whole esports thing, and it made it better for the players. There's more tournaments, there's more ways to get money. It's great.
That's really good, and especially because it's created, or at least it's someone who was in that community, that I always feel like people who were in something know the best changes for the people who love it.
Yeah, and he's really involved with the players, hands-on. He has a good community relations with them. He knows what they want, and he's a good guy. I mean, it was amazing. It just came out of nowhere within the last 2 or 3 years. It really changed esports, especially WoW esports.
That's really cool. How do you feel, going back to the girl side of thing or the lady side of things, that we, because I can't help, as someone who hasn't seen a lot of esports, that I still don't see a lot of girls. Do you think there's a special reason for that, or what are your feelings about the whole underrepresentation?
It's an intimidation thing. Even the girls it's an open sign up for it. In the past, you used to have to be a certain rating to sign up for these tournaments, but now literally anybody can sign up. You don't have to have any special qualifications. You just have to have friends, and you can sign up, and you just have to show up. It's so open that there's nothing stopping me and you from signing up. I get people there, and they see, they get nervous. They're like, oh, I don't want to do it anymore, or they see who we have to fight, and I'm like, well, just just try, you know, like what's the worst that can happen? We could lose, or we could say we did it. I think a lot of people are just scared to lose, or scared to embarrass themselves, or scared to get made fun of. But
Do you think harassment plays a big part of it as well?
I'm sure it happens, and maybe not to me because so many of them know me and my boyfriend. But I haven't gotten harassed personally. Most of the players that in the higher rated players that we've had to play in the tournament, they've treated me like any other like competitor. Even the BlizzCon champions, we had to fight them, and I didn't feel like they were like, oh, free win, or can we just skip this like formality. They treated me like, okay, you know, you need to pick the map. He even a little bit, just in case I didn't know, tried to explain the, you know, format for me.
Yeah.
But they were very respectable, and they treated me just like any other competitor, and I thought that was really nice. And everybody else that I fought in the tournament, they treated me just like anybody else.
That's really good to hear.
Yeah.
Okay. Anna, do you have anything else that you would like to put out there regarding your main topic before I jump back to our standard questions?
Don't be afraid to PvP. I mean, the worst that can happen is you can lose, you know?
You know what? I think that's actually a really good tip.
It's not like those games where you die and everything. What is it? Diablo, where you die and you lose all your stuff. Like, if you die in WoW, your stuff is still there.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah, that's not so bad, is it?
The worst thing that can happen is someone's gonna whisper you and say like, "LOL noob," and you know what? It happens to me. It happened to me yesterday. You know, and within this last week, I've been told I'm the best Holy Pally, and I've been told I'm the worst Holy Pally. So I mean, I put those two together, and I must be average.
Maybe, or someone might have had some sour grapes, I think.
Yeah.
All right. Anna, let's go back to Battle for Azeroth. So, what are you most impressed with in Battle for Azeroth, and what are you least impressed with?
The most impressed I am with is the new races. I love that we're finally, after all this time, getting the new allied races. I've only tried out Dark Iron like personally, but I had alpha and beta, but as soon as I tried them, I knew that like whatever it took, I was gonna like unlock it, even if I had to PvE or like whatever. Like and it's not even an attractive. Like I was always like, oh, I love Blood Elf and Human, like, but my Dark Iron is. I made him look like he's the most ridiculous thing I've ever seen, but I love him. And the racials is, I love it.
Okay. What are you least impressed with?
I think that BFA is really not alt friendly.
Okay.
If you want to be like competitive, I mean, it's not so hard to level itself, but then you have to, it's very grindy. I spend several hours like daily, like having to, you know, do my dailies and, you know, grind Azerite, and it just feels like a job sometimes. And also like the PvE items in PvP, I don't think they should be allowed. Voidstone, like Leviathan, Cyclonic Blast, I'm so tired of that trinket. I just don't think that stuff like that belongs in PvP, like where you're required to PvE to PvP.
Yeah.
There's an unfair advantage sometimes.
Yeah, no, I can understand that. It would be a bit like back in the day when certain PvPers could get amazing gear that was not accessible for PvEers.
Was it Cataclysm, when the rogues could get those legendary daggers? And
I think so. I can remember people being very salty in my guild about it.
I mean, it's just when you're I'm not saying I'm better than anybody, but like when you feel like you're doing everything you can in a game, and then like all of a sudden like a giant fish comes out and smacks your player for like, and he just dies, and you're like, what can you do to stop that? Like, how do you stop a fish? I'm not equipped with that tool set. I don't know what to do.
No, I can imagine. Okay. Do you have any good tips for the listeners when it comes to Battle for Azeroth?
don't skip your world quest. Do your island expeditions. A lot of PvPers, they're so lazy. I love my friends, but I'm like, do 3 mythics. It's worth 3,500 Azerite, you know. Just I always have missions on your mission. AP is so, I don't know, get that neck going. Like,
Yeah, do you notice that that's a big difference if you keep doing all those things?
yeah. And everybody's like, how are you so high? I'm like, I'm not that high. I'm only 59, but I mean on 2 paladins.
Wow.
But
A lot of work.
oh yeah. I mean, I have the summer off from school, but it's like I feel like I get up in the morning and I'm doing dailies. Luckily, I have a hunter to help me because I'm a holy pally. But like I'm doing dailies, and then I'm doing dailies on another one, and then I'm doing this, and it's just like a job. And I would like to play another character, but I feel like I don't have time for another like part-time job.
Yeah, no, I can imagine that. Okay. This is a bit of an odd one always for people, because you can take it as broad or as small as you want, but what has the Warcraft community meant to you?
Friendship. I met some of my best friends in this game, and not to mention my fiance of 5 years. We met on WoW 5 years ago, and after a year he moved here, and we've been living together for 4 years. Every BlizzCon's like a family reunion, I feel like. Every time we take a trip, there's always someone to meet.
Mm-hmm.
I'm actually still in contact with the guildmaster from my Burning Crusade guild.
Wow.
Yeah, I mean, they didn't have battle tag back then, but I happened to save the guild that we were in because he had transferred the guild to me, but he was still in the guild, and I caught him online one day and I added him. It's just crazy. That was so long ago.
That's really, really cool. Are you going to BlizzCon this year?
Yeah, this will be my 4th BlizzCon.
Nice. I'm very jealous.
Oh, it's fun. I mean, there's nothing like it, and the biggest thing for me for BlizzCon is obviously being the EU fanatic that I am, is meeting my EU friends. Anybody that I love from EU that can make it and compete. It's such a rare thing to meet friends from Europe because it's so expensive to go. So the ones that get to come from Europe for BlizzCon, like I just cherish that, just getting to hang out with them.
Yeah, I can imagine. Okay, Anna. We're going to go to the weirdest question of them all. It's also the final question of the interview. So the question is, what is your whisper? And for those, I explain it every week, but for those who don't know what the whisper is, it's really just a failed experiment from when the podcast first started. But a whisper can be anything. It can be a wish that you have for the game that you would like to happen, or maybe story-wise that you're like, oh, this needs to be in the game, or anything that you feel, yeah, I'd like that in game. What is your whisper?
I think I speak for every PvPer everywhere when I say, please bring PvP vendors back.
So can you explain for those who don't P, what is so different about the PvP vendors?
It used to be where you would get, conquest points, and you could choose what you wanted to buy based on you saved your points up. You could save your points up, and so you could get your weapon, you could get the exact piece you wanted. It was up to you to get the right stats. And now it's very RNG. Like, you do get a cap piece each week.
Mm-hmm.
Based on the one Blizzard wants to give you. But when you're queuing arena, you can randomly get a piece of gear. It's very random, but very high chances it's gonna have the wrong stats on it, or it's not gonna be an upgrade. I have 410s, and I've disenchanted very, very many 430s that just weren't upgrades, have bad stats on them. It's so disappointing to keep getting gear, and it's so hard to, I don't know. That's why all of us are in Mythic Plus now, trying to get best in slot gear so we can PvP. And I hate Mythic Plus.
Yeah.
It's just awful. I mean, we're all begging for it. Like, just let us, It would still be limited to how much conquest we could get a week, which is how it used to be.
Mm-hmm.
But we could choose what, we want to buy. Like, I don't want this piece with haste mastery. I want the piece with crit versatility. Like, please let me have that. Like,
Yeah, I can remember that from Wrath of the Lich King, that we sometimes PvP just to get some certain gear stats that we really wanted for that would also help us out in PvE. I think it was at times where certain things that would help us. All right. Well, Anna, thank you so much for this interview.
oh, it's great to be here.
If people want to find out more about you and your Discord, where can they find you?
My DMs are always open on Twitter. Obviously, I don't have a link out on it for it because we're trying to keep the guys out. No offense to any guys, but my Twitter's at Anna the Pally, or you can catch me on Twitch at I Like Turtles XO.
I like that one. I like that name.
Yeah, I actually have 2 tortoises.
Okay, see, I have a terrapin, so I like that. No, I love anything with turtles. Okay, well, Anna, I'm sure that people can find you, and any girls who want to start to dip their toes into PvP, I suggest that they would contact you to get onto the Discord. But thank you so much. It was lovely talking to you.
You too.
So I hope you enjoyed that interview. It was lovely talking to Anna and hearing all those stories about PvP. I think I might actually have to join it now with my, maybe for Classic. I hope there's a Classic segment because I could definitely use some tips. Back in the day I was a PvPer, and I have to admit, being on my rogue in Nazjatar, I'm a dick because I really, really enjoy appearing behind people and stabbing them in PvP. That says a lot about me, I guess. So yeah, I think PvP is really a lot of fun, and I think War Mode is really great. So I can't wait for Classic PvP to come back. So if you're interested in PvP and you wanna, and you're a lady, then I would definitely contact Anna to see if you can get onto her Discord. Right. Other stuff now. Not so much a question of the week or anything that I wanted to talk about, because it's competition time. So we're very close to episode 50 now, and in all fairness, I'm very happy that I've made it, because I have a tendency to quit podcasts far too early, and luckily that has not happened. I'm actually really, really enjoying doing this podcast. I'm hoping that it will be someday episode 500. That would be cool. So I need all your help with that, with all your interviews, of course. But I think for 50 episodes we need to have a little bit of a competition. I want to know which episode has been your favorite so far and why. So you have up until and I'm quickly grabbing my calendar, the 17th of August, and I realized that's only going to be 6 more days when this podcast launches, because I want to basically announce the winner on show 50. So on episode 50 I will pick a winner, and the winner will get a mount, because I like to anger the community with, store mounts that you can get. I want to give a mount of the winner's choice from the store. So yeah, you can have a mount. And if you already have all the mounts but you don't have a pet, then we'll work something out. Or I'll give you like a token, I guess, or something equivalent for that. But yes, a mount. I think maybe now with the new Alabaster mounts, hey, why not have that? So all you need to do is you can PM the show, you can DM the show, you can send me just a normal tweet to the show account. Say which show was your favorite and why. And from all the people who wrote in, I will pick a winner with the answer that I really liked. And yeah, I will contact you then, but you will hear it next week. Also, if you want to use the email, you can do that as well, so you will get all the details at the end of the show. But you have 6 days. 6 days. I feel a little bit like Samara from The Ring. You only have like 7 days or something, I don't know. But yeah, get on to that. I don't do a lot of competitions often, and there might be a little bit of an extra surprise tied to that as well. But I need to see how things go and how many answers I get. So that's really it. But 50 shows, you know. I'm sure you've listened to one or two, so you could just use that one. I don't know. And that's really it. But I want to thank you guys for helping me get to show number 50. Because I could not have done it without you. In all fairness, I am very grateful for all the amazing listeners from the start, from the people who stuck. Also for the people who only listen to one show, because it still helps, with all the feedback you guys have provided, with all the tweets too, all the questions. It has been amazing so far, and we're only on show 49, you know. I'm hoping for many, many more to come. So thank you for everything. And I am going to go to how you can contact me, I guess. So if you want to contact the show or send in your answer, you can do that the following ways. You can find the show, of course, on the internet, whispersofwar.podbean.com, for all the show notes and all the other extra information. On Twitter, you can find the show at whispers_of_war, or my personal account, which is McMonkeys with a Z. The email is whispersofwarpodcast@gmail.com. And I think as soon as Classic hit, we will be streaming. I say we, not the royal, me, I'll be streaming. You can see my failings as a troll in World of Warcraft as a mage. Go to twitch.tv/McMonkeys with 2 Z's, and that's me. And I think that's it. So, have a wonderful time, guys, in Azeroth. I'll promise I'll have a normal question of the week next week. But, yeah, get onto that competition, because I haven't received loads of people's entries yet. So you have a big chance of winning still. Just saying, you know, you have more chances when there's like 4 people than when there's like 400. Just saying. Yeah, so go and enter, and anyone can enter from US or Oceanic or European servers. I think there's a way of sending gifts to the other servers, so that shouldn't be a problem. And I will talk to you all next week. Have a lovely time. Make sure that you reserve your names for Classic soon, and I will see you all next week. Bye-bye.
This show is brought to you by Dragon Powered Studio. Find more at dragonpoweredstudio.com.